Not all jump ropes are created equally, and some will make your learning process a lot harder than it needs to be, which is why I thought I'd create this video so that you have a complete guide to rope types and you can figure out which rope is best for you to use. Before I start, if you are in the market for a new rope, obviously you want to watch this video to figure out which is going to be best for you, but I do have a discount code in the description for my ropes at the moment. It is Black Friday, so if you're watching this video around Black Friday, the discount is really good. But if you've missed Black Friday, don't worry, there's still a cheeky discount in the description waiting for you, and a link to all of my ropes, of course. Let's start this video with the ropes you want to avoid when you're starting out. I mean, almost all jump ropes have their place, but there are certain types that really should be avoided when you're starting out. Let's talk about wire ropes. Wire ropes have their place. They are great for maxing out double unders or getting a high amount of reps in a short amount of time. So if you're doing speed, where you're literally just doing one foot at a time, then these are great for that. And obviously in double unders and something like CrossFit, where you're trying to get as many double unders in a short time as efficiently as possible. But if you learn on one of these, it's pretty much like learning to drive on a Formula One car. It's going to be difficult to control, it's going to move really fast, and you're just simply not going to have the coordination or ability to keep up with that. And you'll end up just getting whipped to shit by one of these. So avoid it when you're learning, but once you're proficient and you've learned on one of the ropes I'm going to talk about, and if you do your practice sessions on the ropes I'm going to talk about, then obviously if you are competing in CrossFit, or you are competing in jump rope competitions, or you just want to go really effing fast in a session, then absolutely fine. You can pick one of these up later. But we want to avoid wire ropes when we start. Wire tends to be coated with something. It's not always, but just look out for anything that is wire, and also like mechanical handles, anything with bearings actually. And again, people think surely bearings are great, it's going to help the rope move around me quickly. As a beginner, you're not going to know how to control that. You need something that's going to get you used to being in control of the rotations of the rope. Jump rope isn't about dodging the rope, it's about controlling the rope so that you jump it at the same time. You're in control of both the rope and your body. It's bringing the two together. I think a lot of people think you're basically rotating the rope and then looking for it and then jumping it. It's just not the case. That said, when you learn correct rotation form, moving on to one of these later, you'll absolutely fly, because the bearings and that spin you get from one of these will actually complement your existing form. You'll quite literally fly on one of these if you learn on the right rope. Now, another rope I see a lot of people start on, and I made this mistake, is one of these. It's like an Amazon special, spongy handles, kind of bearings. This is wire coated in PVC. When I bought this, I thought it was actually PVC, but it's not. There's wire in there. These thick handles are going to cause me to actually grip them quite hard. Like actually in jump rope, I'll come to it in a bit, you only want to be holding your handles lightly. When you're jumping rope for long periods of time, if you're gripping the handle really hard, then you're actually going to get tired doing that as well. So something like this is just, it's not necessary basically. You don't want bulky handles, and considering this is wire, it's very light and quite flimsy. This rope gives me trauma. I started with one of these. I ignored all the advice to buy a decent PVC or beaded rope, and I got one of these to start on, and I know a lot of you will probably do the same, even maybe watching this video. Trust me, it's just not worth it. It's just going to make it harder, and you will end up buying a different rope later on when you realise that. I am always like, a rope is better than no rope, and that is the truth. But at the same time, if people start on the wrong rope, it can be very demotivating and frustrating, which isn't very good for motivation and consistency. So yeah, I generally recommend, if you can, getting the right rope. Which leads me on to the right ropes. Now let's start with beaded ropes. Beaded ropes are the best for beginners. I was going to say, in my opinion, the best for beginners, but pretty much any jump rope coach around the world will tell you that beaded ropes are best for beginners. It's not impossible to learn on PVC, which I'll come to, but beaded is really going to give you the best chance to get correct rotation form. You're going to get less frustrated when you start because the rope moves nice and slowly, so you're going to have time to react. You can really see and feel this going through the air. There's like audible and physical feedback. This just holds its shape. This isn't going to kink and tangle. The beads stop the rope from tangling. That said, something people get frustrated about with beaded ropes is that they do move slow. So some people struggle if they have been using a wire rope or a PVC rope to get started because they didn't know that beaded ropes exist and they didn't know that would be best for them. It can be quite difficult to move back to beaded, but I do recommend you try and persevere with that process, because if you can get really good at rotating one of these, your control is going to be incredible. And then when you move on to PVC later, and then potentially wire if that's what you want, then you're going to be unstoppable. The other thing that's quite nice about beaded ropes is they're very durable. So if you're in a cold country, if you get those cold winters, this isn't going to struggle. It's not going to freeze in cold weather and snap. The beads on the nylon, the beads actually obviously protect the nylon from damage. Beads, obviously you're still getting that friction. The rope should hit the ground when you're jumping, but the beads will get hit and you can actually replace these. And you will find these ropes, they come long, so you will need to resize them when you start and cut them shorter. And then what you want to do is keep the extra beads so that over time, when your beads in the middle of the rope have experienced wear, you can actually replace those ones in the middle. So this is also a rope that's going to last you quite a long time. Just like PVC as well, which I'll come to, these are really easy to resize. You have a very simple system with a knot and a washer. You untie the knots, remove however many beads you need to, and then you can put everything back and tie a knot in a shorter position. Just make sure when you do that, I actually recommend you put a lighter to the end of the nylon just so that it doesn't fray, because that will make it difficult over time to get through the washer. So you just want to light it, let the end melt a bit, put it between your fingers once it's obviously cool enough to do so, just to shape it into a nice small shape so it can go back through the washer. Now I have this beaded rope in 4 different colours: pink, black, white and blue. I love the block colours. These show up so well when you're actually jumping. You can see it, it just looks really cool. And then also on video as well, they just really pop. One thing about my ropes that's really important was that I always match the nylon to the colour. A lot of ropes on the market tend to just have a very boring white nylon, and actually when you see the rope going through the air, you always have some gaps, and it really shows. It makes the rope look quite disjointed, whereas you get that full block look when you have the nylon the same colour as the beads. A link to these can be found in the description. Moving on, we have PVC. So PVC is going to move faster than your beaded rope, but it's still going to be easy to control compared to something like wire. So it is a really nice rope. Some people do actually learn on this and have no issue doing that. Again, as I said, I think you'll become a more rounded jump roper if you start on beaded, but it is okay to start on PVC. Everything is possible with PVC that you can do on a beaded rope. And actually, I forgot to mention that beaded is particularly good for learning releases. So if you are looking to learn releases, then you want to go beaded for sure. Again, it's not impossible. People have learned releases on PVC ropes as well. They obviously move faster. So if you're getting a bit frustrated with the speed of your beaded rope, then PVC is great to progress to. You'll see that for pretty much all of my fast routines, I always pick up a PVC rope. When I'm doing something a little bit slower or something that has lots of releases in it, then I'll often pick up my beaded ropes. And if you get really fast on a beaded rope, then of course you'll be super fast on PVC. If you just learn on PVC, then you probably will limit the speed you can go. A really good way to improve your speed is to practice on a heavier rope and then pick up something lighter. PVC ropes, just like beaded, are really easy to resize. Actually, they're even more easy to resize than beaded, because you literally just have this click system. One thing as well about my PVC ropes is they're all reinforced with nylon at the core. So they are actually much more durable than a lot of PVC out there on the market. I've never had a PVC rope snap at the end. Obviously, I do use a mat. You want to try and avoid concrete with any ropes you use. It is going to make them wear quicker. If your only option is to jump on concrete, I recommend getting a mat. It's going to make your ropes last longer. longer, and also it's going to help a little bit with lowering the impact of the movement. But mostly the reason I like to use a mat is to prevent the wear on my ropes. So yeah, get a mat. I will put the link in the description to mine as well, and you can use the discount code on the mat as well. You'll find there's a lot of flimsy PVC out there, especially on Amazon, which I do love Amazon for a lot of things, don't get me wrong, but there's just a lot of tat on there. I'm not gonna lie. There are some good ropes, but it's very difficult to know what is good and what's not. If you get PVC that's very light and very thin and kind of stretchy, that's gonna kink and tangle really easily. When you go out for a session, it's just gonna be in an absolute state unless you've kept it really, really smooth. I mean, to be honest, I'm really bad at storing my ropes well. I just chuck them in my bag and I never have kinks in this. It's absolutely fine. It's really difficult to make this kink. So yeah, intermediate to advanced jump ropers who want some speed but still want a bit of control, PVC is for you. One thing to note with both PVC and beaded ropes is the handles. These are great because you have this nice thin bit here and then it gets larger at the end. This means you can easily put the handle between your index finger and thumb, and that just rests there. So it makes it very easy to have relaxed form and not get too tired trying to grip the rope. And again, I have these in those same beautiful colors that are really gonna pop. So blue, black, white, pink. The link is in the description. Now, one rope I don't have an example of because I don't really use them is weighted ropes. That's another type of rope that exists. There is nothing wrong with them at all, actually, and there's more weight, so you're going to get that feedback. For beginners, it's a bit easier. I would be careful of weighted ropes on the market that have bearings at the handles, because quite often when people have that, they just end up sticking their handles out and just kind of jumping up and down, and the momentum of that gets the rope moving around them. If you want to learn to jump rope properly, you don't want something with bearings. You want to be actually moving the rope, and actually you're going to get more out of your workout anyway. The reason people use weighted ropes is generally because they want to add a bit more of a challenge to their upper body. So if you're choosing a system that has bearings at the handle, you're not necessarily going to get the result from that. Whereas I'd recommend looking at ones that don't have the bearings. That's a very simple setup that actually encourage you to get the rotation right. One thing I will say with weighted ropes is there are a lot of crazy claims out there that they build muscle. It's just not true. So big red flag if someone is telling you that weighted ropes build muscle. They are going to make it more challenging and do a little bit to work your upper body a bit more. But if you want to be building muscle on your upper body, you need to be getting in the gym and lifting some weights or doing some body weight exercises that actually contract the muscle. Like, this is not going to do much. This is, yeah, you get the idea. That's what I do anyway. I do weightlifting alongside my jump rope training, and I very much treat jump rope as something super fun to do and a bit of cardio. It's mostly cardio, but it is going to work things a little bit. We're always honest over here, yeah? I think generally weighted ropes, if you've not got long and you want to get a bit more bang for your buck, then it's quite good. Say you're doing a 10 to 15 minute jump rope session, then using a weighted rope is going to just increase the intensity there. So nothing wrong with them, but if you're doing a longer session or you're wanting to do routines and things like that, you're going to struggle with a heavy rope. Basically, you want to use something like a PVC or beaded rope. So that is everything. Just to summarize, avoid light wire ropes, anything with bearings, anything that makes it move more easily when you're starting out. Only use those ropes later on once you're a bit more proficient. Beaded, great for beginners, moves nice and slowly, lots of feedback from it, easy to learn tricks, releases, etc, etc. PVC, great for when you want to add speed, but also easy to control and gives you a little bit of feedback. As I said, check out the discount in the description. If you're watching this over Black Friday, then it is a super discount at the moment, so you can make the most of that. If you've missed Black Friday, not to worry, I will still put a discount in the description that will get you a little money off. And if you're new to jump rope and need to know things like rope length and where to start once you get your rope, then check out my video for beginners, which I will link somewhere. I don't know. And of course, I have my app Fancy Feats, which gives you everything you need to get started with jump rope and beyond. I'm really proud of that. It's become a huge resource for jump ropers at all levels, loads of education, loads of workouts, a really, really fun and structured way to do your jump rope sessions. Give this a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I will see you in my next video. That's a wrap, innit? That's a massive bird.